Welcome Homeless Life Stories.
27,229 people. That's how many Texans are living without a home in 2025. A state once known for its wealth, vitality, and the celebrated promise of the American dream now watches tens of thousands sleep beneath bridges, inside cars, or along glowing city boulevards. From Houston to Dallas, from Austin to Galveston, the land that once symbolized opportunity is now shadowed by fatigue and inequality. As skyscrapers rise and housing prices skyrocket while wages remain stagnant, thousands across Texas are losing the most basic human need, a place to call home. In San Antonio, Maria, a single mother with 2 young children, calls her old car a mobile apartment. Every night she prays for the day she can cook a meal in a real kitchen, where her children can sleep without fear of being forced to move again. Texas, 2025, the state where the American dream shines brightest, yet where the pain of being human feels most visible. And the question remains, will we choose to look away, or dare to look deeper into ourselves? 1. A crisis in plain sight. Texas, the land of opportunity, oil, endless highways, and dreams built from sweat and faith. Yet behind the brilliance of its major cities, more than 27,229 people are living without shelter, a number that has risen 12% in just 1 year. In Houston, tent encampments spread thick beneath the Interstate 45 overpasses, where the number of unsheltered individuals has grown nearly 16%, while the number of shelter beds has fallen. Amid the roaring traffic and scorching heat, Maria, a 34-year-old mother, holds her 2 small children in the back seat of an old car parked by the roadside. She once worked as a hotel receptionist, but 3 months without pay after a round of layoffs was enough to lose her apartment. Now, each night she tells her children stories about a house in the clouds as a way to keep hope alive. Further north, Dallas and Fort Worth sit in a paradox, America's second fastest growing economy, yet thousands of residents must choose between food and rent. Meanwhile, Austin has emerged as a rare bright spot, increasing its number of shelter beds by 70% and permanent housing units by 35% since 2022. Proof that when compassion walks hand in hand with policy, miracles can happen. Texas is a land of contrast where luxury and hardship live just a few blocks apart. And yet, among that disparity, hearts still burn with resilience. I don't need pity, Maria says, just a chance to start over. Perhaps that is the message Texas most needs to hear. Every great change begins with a heart willing to listen. But what has driven tens of thousands into homelessness in one of America's most prosperous states? The answer lies buried in the causes Texas has long avoided confronting. 2. The roots of the struggle. The cost of housing in Texas has moved far beyond the reach of ordinary workers. In Dallas, the average home now sells for nearly $400,000, while in Houston, renting a 1-bedroom apartment costs about $1,350 per month. Yet the minimum wage remains frozen at $7.25 an hour, unchanged for over a decade. Hard-working people can no longer keep up. A single storm, a medical bill, or a month without income can push families onto the streets. In 2024, when natural disaster struck Galveston, more than 10,000 residents lost their homes within weeks, and many still haven't recovered. In San Antonio, Maria drives each night in search of a safe place for her children to sleep. There were nights I just wanted to cry, she says, but then I looked at my kids and knew I had to keep going. Once she had a steady job, a rented home, and simple dreams. Now, those dreams have been replaced by fear, the fear that comes every time she hears a knock on her car window. Texas has only 36 affordable units for every 100 low-income households, a statistic that reveals the truth. Inequality here isn't about fate, it's about a system. They say Texas is the land of opportunity, but for thousands like Maria, opportunity seems reserved for those who already have a home from which to chase it. Amid this uneven landscape, Texas's biggest cities, Austin, Houston, Dallas, are walking 3 very different paths, each reflecting a struggle between policy, compassion, and faith. 3. Urban struggles and small victories. Texas is more than a state. It's 3 stories colliding on the same map. Each city is searching for its own way out of the homelessness crisis, and each reveals a different face of human empathy, governance, and conviction. In Austin, light breaks through the dark. The city invested $4.38 million to purchase and repurpose a building into a navigation center, where unhoused residents receive medical care, ID assistance, and, most importantly, a path toward permanent housing. Through the Housing First model, Austin increased its temporary shelter capacity by 70% and long-term housing by 35%, cutting wait times by 25% for those moving into stable homes. Their philosophy is simple: don't wait for people to change to give them homes. Give them homes so they can change. In contrast, Houston has taken a harsher road. The city bans sitting or resting on downtown sidewalks, prioritizing cleanliness over compassion. Yet outdoor homelessness has risen nearly 16%, pushing more people further from help. Sarah, a former elementary school teacher who lost her job, says, "I don't need anyone's pity, just a place to sleep without being punished." But in Houston today, even that feels out of reach. Then there's Dallas, once hopeful with its night court program, a compassionate initiative that offered unhoused individuals a way to clear minor violations and connect with social services. That promising idea collapsed within 4 months, undone by mistrust and lack of funding. A city that once sought healing now sits in silence. When policies lack compassion and systems lack strength, what happens to those lost in the Texas night? The answer lies in a safety net long since torn apart. 4. A safety net in tatters. In a wealthy state like Texas, you'd think anyone who falls could find a hand to lift them up. But reality is as cold as the concrete where many sleep. The so-called safety net meant to protect the vulnerable has become a threadbare blanket, too thin to shield against life's storms. Texas ranks 49th out of 50 states in mental health funding. With only 1,100 psychiatric beds for a population of over 30 million, thousands living with mental illness or addiction wander the streets without care. In Bexar County, emergency medical costs for a single unhoused person average $24,500 per year, yet only 10% receive any form of long-term support. Sarah, a 42-year-old former accountant, says she sought help from mental health centers 3 times and was told every time to get on the list. As her depression worsened, she lost her job, her apartment, and finally her faith that anyone cared. Now she lives beneath a bridge in San Antonio, where the cold wind feels like a whisper, reminding her that the system has forgotten her. Job programs offer little refuge either. Only 12% of Texas's homeless population qualifies for vocational training. The rest are turned away for lacking paperwork or an address. It's a cruel cycle. No home means no job, and no job means never finding a home again.
We need some wipes there. We need wipes, man. And this right here?
Texas prides itself on a $2.9 trillion economy, yet tens of thousands line up for free meals, wait for shelter openings, or sleep by the roadside. When progress moves faster than compassion, the divide between those who have and those who don't becomes a canyon. And when poverty is treated as a crime, when hardship is met with punishment instead of help, that is when Texas's true tragedy reveals itself. Five, the cost of punishing survival. In 2024, the U.S. Supreme Court's decision in Grants Pass v. Johnson opened the door for cities to legally penalize people experiencing homelessness for sleeping in public spaces. In Texas, where pride can sometimes drown out that ruling, it quickly became a tool to maintain order. But behind the cleanliness of downtown streets are lives being pushed further from the light. In Lubbock, where roughly 950 people live outdoors, police can now issue $150 citations for sleeping in public. For those who don't have a dollar to their name, that fine might as well be a sentence. They're ticketed, then go into debt, then jailed, then released, only to return exactly where they started. A loop with no exit. Sarah, 45, used to teach elementary school in Austin. After losing her job and going through a divorce, she began sleeping in a park with her small dog, Luna. One night, the shriek of a police siren woke her, followed by the first citation of her life. "I didn't commit any crime except being too poor," she said, eyes brimming. The ticket tagged her record with public order violation, which cost her any chance of returning to a classroom, one thing she'd always been proud of. These policies, dressed up as urban management, are really just a way to push poverty out of sight. Instead of asking why are people sleeping outside, we ask how do we make them disappear from this corner? And within that fracture, Texas faces another test, ever-deepening split between fear and mercy, between those who want to help and those who simply turn away. Six, a crisis that touches you all. Texas, often praised as the heart of America, now bears a wound that cuts it in two. Half of its people say they feel for those without a home. The other half are afraid and want them gone. Between those poles, tens of thousands wander in loneliness because they want to, but because society no longer knows which eyes to use when looking at them. A 2025 survey shows 64% of Texans worry about encampments near schools, and 60% of Fort Worth residents say they don't feel safe passing by tent clusters. Those numbers reveal a painful truth: fear is crowding out empathy. In Houston, the city spends $10 million a year clearing encampments money that could build 1,000 tiny homes instead. "They say they're cleaning the streets," said Leo, a man who lived 5 years under a bridge. "But every time they clean, we lose the little we have left." Meanwhile, Housing First, prioritizing housing before any other requirements, has proven that compassion is the smartest strategy. In Austin, 90% of those housed remain stably housed after a year, and the average cost of this approach is 40% lower than traditional enforcement. Still, society stands at a crossroads: sweep or heal, punish or help. Each choice reveals who we really are. If Texas wants to find its heart again, it may have to start with the smallest thing: empathy. As Jesus taught, "Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy." And in that darkness, there are places proving that change is real, where compassion and action walk together, sketching lines of hope across Texas's parched landscape. Seven, a roadmap to change. Amid compounding crisis, Texas still has bright points, small yet brilliant, like candles in a storm. Even in despair, mercy finds a way. In Houston, a $41 million project has just opened to support young people aging out of foster, 18-year-olds with no home and no one to welcome them. Here they receive job training, counseling, and most importantly, a roof. Many say it's the first time they've slept without fear of a police knock or a cold gust off the sidewalk. In Austin, the From Shelter to Home program is proving that compassion can be organized effectively. Through coordination among the city, local businesses and community groups. Hundreds have moved from tents to small apartments in 3 to 6 months. Carlos, a 58-year-old veteran, shared, "When they put that first key in my hand, I cried. Not from joy, because I felt human again." In Corpus Christi, a supervised safe camp model helps 75% of residents transition to stable housing or part-time work. Everyone is called by name, not homeless. They're seen, heard, and given a chance. These efforts show that when policy is guided by heart, change is not just a dream. Austin, Houston, Corpus Christi, 3 cities, 3 approaches, 1 shared truth. You cannot end poverty with penalties. You can only heal it with humanity. But to make compassion more than a beautiful story, Texas needs something bigger renewal. Not only in tech or policy, but in how we see one another.
All right, hope you enjoy. No problem. Okay, here you go. It's like a Thai dish.
Thank you.
It's like ground pork. It's like a Thai dish, okay?
Okay.
8. Innovative solutions gaining traction in the state of high rises, tech and speed learning to use those very tools to heal its deepest social wounds. Technology, when steered by empathy, can serve people and not just profit. The Texas Homeless Data Sharing Network, THITS 2025, now covers over 93% of counties, linking data among shelters, hospitals, and social service centers. When someone is flagged as needing help, their information is updated in real time to locate the nearest available bed or an on-call clinician. As a result, more than 4,200 unhoused Texans have been matched to housing and timely medical care, instead of being lost in paperwork. In San Antonio, a $3.2 million rapid rehousing investment helped 450 families secure long-term housing in just 1 year. Experts call it a data managed miracle, treating people not as stats but as living journeys. Every data point represents a life. That's their guiding ethos. In El Paso, mobile health clinics equipped with GPS bring care directly to encampments. In 2024, they treated 1,100 people and cut emergency costs by more than 25%. One doctor said, "We don't ask why they're here. We ask what they need to make it through today." Beyond back-end systems, human-centered tech is rising. Young engineers in Austin built HomeLink, an app that lets residents flag locations where someone needs help, donate blankets and water, or ping emergency services. Small as it seems, the app saved dozens of lives during the cold snap in January 2025. And as technology helps Texas truly see the unseen, the next step is for communities to speak up so every heart, every hand, can help weave a story of home. Nine. Community power in ending homelessness. If policy is the skeleton, community is Texas's heartbeat. In years of crisis, when budgets are tight and faith wears, communities have stepped in to fill the gaps the system leaves behind. On streets from San Antonio to Fort Worth, hands are reaching out not to take, but to give. In San Antonio, the Close to Home initiative is a living testament to what love can do. Over 200 volunteers show up weekly, distributing 1,500 care kits with water, blankets, hygiene items, and hot meals. More importantly, they listen, because often the deepest need isn't food. It's to be seen and called by name. Through these connections, more than 350 people have found steady work, and many obtained IDs for the first time in years.
Okay, like, just let me know can you open this and let me know. Yeah.
In Fort Worth, 300 small businesses joined Homes of Hope. They dedicate a slice of profits to interim housing for 900 people, and 78% have remained housed for over a year. A cafe owner told Homeless Life Stories, "When I hired someone who'd been on the street, our shop changed. Not just the revenue atmosphere. Everyone started seeing one another differently." In Houston, the Faith in Action group, launched by local believers, blends prayer with service. Every Friday night under the Pierce Elevated, dozens gather unhoused, some housed, pray, eat, sing, and share hope. One man wept as he said, "For the first time in years, someone called me brother, not homeless." As scripture reminds us, faith without works is dead. Belief lives only when it becomes action. And across Texas, communities are writing a new chapter where love is proven not by words, but by deeds.
How you guys here and how often do you guys come out? We come here
10. A call to build a better future.
Yeah, so I had a lady, so those, all the coolers, those orange coolers.
Texas, 2025 land of oil, tech, and endless highway, so holds two stark images. Radiant towers glowing at night and thousands of trembling tents under streetlights. More than 27,000 people still have nowhere to call home. And that figure isn't just a statistics, tens of thousands of unfinished stories. Austin has shown that compassion can become policy, cutting the time from shelter to housing by 25%. Houston is still caught between ordinances and empathy, while Dallas, despite its night court experiment, stumbled under doubt and fear. 3 cities, 3 paths, 1 unanswered question. How can Texas truly become a place where everyone gets a second start? Mariathi's mother, who once slept in her car in San Antonio, now has a small room. The teacher ticketed for sleeping in a park is training for a new career. Somewhere out there, those who were once forgotten are regaining trust, thanks to hands that did not turn away. They don't need pity. They need the opportunity to work, to love, to live like anyone else. Texas can be stronger, wealthier, and more inventive than anywhere. But without compassion, all that remains are empty buildings. As Jesus taught, love your neighbor as yourself. That is not merely a moral lessons of blueprint for society, where each of us sees ourselves in another's pain. Homeless Life Stories doesn't just tell stories, we call for action. Share, comment, spread the word. Only when we speak of them, see them, and believe in them will Texas truly change. 1 donated dollar, 1 prayer, 1 volunteer hour could be the thread that brings someone back to life. May the land of freedom and hope find mercy amid the noise of prosperity. May those without homes find shelter. May closed hearts learn to open. And may the light of love reach the darkest corners of this state. Amen.
That's for you.
So, what can I have? Pork, a little like a jalapeno, water. Yeah. Hope you like it. Here you go. I'll just throw it in. Okay. Minced pork. Pork. You want some Oreos? Okay, no problem, no problem. Should I put right here? Ooh, yummy chocolate and... Yeah, I got some fruit in the car. Ooh, I love that, but it's okay. Yeah, save it for you guys. Got it? No, it's okay, but thank you. I hope you like it. Super yummy.
You work at the Sunset?
No? This is just a... No problem. Enjoy.
Yeah, I got a place right here.
Hey, how you been? Yes, sir, all day. Yep.
Okay, so I can guarantee you.
You miss a pizza?
Hi.